Hey everybody, how's it going? Dan Shifter here on Drum Talk TV, coming to you from the very remote mining city of Globe, Arizona, up in the mountains east of Phoenix. And I'm here welcoming once again, he's been on before, he's invading again, Scott Higham in an undisclosed location in the UK, because if they find out where he is, they're going to kick him out of the country. Scott, welcome again. How are you?
I'm really good, Dan. How you doing, man?
Doing really well. I'm really excited about this. And folks, if you're not familiar with Scott, I first want to mention that he plays drums with a lot of great artists, including Oliver Wakeman, who's been on GearShift and Drum Talk TV, I think about 4 times now. Clive Nolan, Final Destination, Pedragon, Shadowkeep, and a lot of other artists. He records right there from his new undisclosed location. And I'm hoping that this video inspires other drummers to send in what Scott's going to do here, and that's give us a gear rundown. And folks, you can send those videos in at drumtalktv.com. There's a video submissions tab there on the website. Send those in. And this is a really cool kit. He's got a very unique setup as far as how it's mic'd and how he does his monitor system. He doesn't have to rely on some bozo on the side of a monitor engineer. What am I thinking? So Scott's going to give us the rundown. We're going to add this additional camera here. And Scott, take it away. It's your show, brother.
Okay. Well, hello to everyone out there in Drumland. I hope you enjoy this. We're going to go through quite a lot of stuff. First thing you need to know, I use a Pearl drum kit. It is a customized drum kit. So you cannot buy this. I've had this kit since 1987.
Wow.
Yeah. And it started life, would you believe? It started life as a Pearl export, right?
Oh.
And then what I did is I found a guy called Eddie Ryan, who was used to design Simon Phillips drum kits here in the UK. And I said, look, you know, really, at the time, I couldn't afford a top-of-the-range kit. I said, but I want a top-of-the-range sound. And he said, well, these guys come out of the factory with a similar kind of wood. The only difference is they don't do the bearing edges and the hoops and all the stuff that they do on the top-of-the-range Masters kits. So bring it to me, and I'll do all your drums for you. They do all the bearing edges, changed it all, changed the free floating mounts and everything on it. And wow, it was just like a completely different sounding kit. It was incredible. So I kept it. And then, of course, I had to go and buy myself some Masters stickers. Because you're coming up to me at the gigs going, my export don't sound like that. Well, it's really an export anymore. So yeah, over the years, I added a couple of drums and bits and pieces, took them over to Eddie. He did all the stuff on it. So that's it. That's what happened. Cool. It was originally smoky chrome, and he covered it all white for me because I wanted it white, because I thought that would look cool under the lights, no matter what gig you're at. So there are, and the snare drum is a Pearl Masters custom that I've just got, which is 14 by 6.5. I used to have a Pearl Marvin Smitty Smith 14 by 4, which I used for about 10 years, which was great, but I just wanted a little bit more depth. So I went and a little bit more bass and bottom end. So I went and bought that. The rack is a Gibraltar rack that I designed myself.
You get a discount on that, right? Because all the pieces are bent. They're all defective.
Yeah. It's like, I was watching all these videos and looking at these pictures online, and I used to have the whole, what they call the goalpost with the 2 straight lines and the curve bar. Yeah. I thought, wouldn't it be cool to have everything just curved? The whole,
because the drums are round, so it makes sense. Right? And the cymbals.
I saw some pictures and was like, how am I going to? So I got a spirit level, because I'm like, how do you do this without it falling over? There's a bit of physics going on. Right. So anyway, the back was there. The bottom line is I had the curves coming out from the bass drum and across the front, and then I had the 2 bars curving around the back. And I thought it looked pretty cool. So that's what happened there. The cymbals are Zildjian cymbals. I use A Customs and Ks, which I'll take you through in a minute when we go around the back of the kit. Heads, I use Remo heads. I use clear Remos on the tops and clear ambassadors on the bottoms.
Awesome. Yeah, take us around the back. Let's get a cockpit view of everything and give us a point by point narration of everything that you're using.
Look at this. Look, welcome. Hold on, I'll get. I'm not very good as a cameraman, so bear with me.
That's okay.
Okay, so let's get round. Let's get round here, and
What a great setup.
I'll show you what's going on. Let's see if I'm sort of looking at the. So we'll go through. Hold on, where are we? We'll go through that monitoring system and all that stuff in a little while.
Cool.
But hopefully this is the kit.
Looks great.
Okay, so we've got. Let's start here. So we've got 8, 10, 12, 16. I think it's 8 by 8, 10 by 8. And then that was a 12 by 11, and I cut it down to a 12 by 8.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I cut that. And the same with the 16. That was 16 by 16. I cut it down to a 16 by 14.
Oh, wow. How did you redo the bearing edges?
I took them to another drum maker that I know.
Oh, okay.
Because unfortunately Eddie passed away.
Oh.
Otherwise, I'd have taken it back to him. So yeah, we got the bearing edges redone on that.
Nice.
So that really did the job. Cymbal land. Let's take you through that. So we've. Oh, I didn't do the snare, did I? Sorry. Yeah. So there's the snare, and at the moment I use a CS Black Dot on the snare.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
But last week I bought this the X.
Yeah, that's a great hit. Alan White used that for years.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm really enjoying it actually. I've only done one gig on it, but it's just I think it's a little bit
that's a great hit.
I mean, whilst we're here, let's take you down to. I'm trying to see if we can see all of this in here.
You can see you got the Kelly shoe in there inside the bass drum. Shout out to Mr. Kelly.
That was like one of the best things I ever bought. Hold on, I can't even get in here. There. I'll tell you what, the directors of movies are not going to have a problem, are they? There you go. Right,
how do you like those beaters? I mean, obviously you like them, but did you experiment with different beaters before you settled on those? And why did you settle on those? What do you like about those?
Well, this might seem like a really strange thing to say, but I always figured if I was using a wooden stick on a plastic head, why wouldn't I use a wooden beater on the plastic head?
Right. That makes total sense. Yeah.
Like, why am I using a mallet foam kind of sound?
Right. With felt and whatnot. Yeah.
And I found that it was nice. It was, but it was kind of more of a muffly sound.
Yeah.
And I had more attack with the wooden beater heads, and it just made sense.
Get a real good attack. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool. Where were we? Let's talk about cymbals. So what have I got here? These are that's an Oriental, isn't it? Oriental China. That's a 16 Oriental.
Cool.
This side I use an 18 Oriental Chinas. What have we got? Hats. These are 14 quick beats.
Cool.
Quick beat A hats. Crashes are A customs. That's a 17, and that is an 18.
Nice.
The ride is a K custom 21.
Oh, cool.
And then I've got, I think that's an A, 12-inch A, and a 10-inch A custom. Sometimes I'll put a 17-inch crash here, so I've got 3 crashes. So I'm using 2 splashes at the moment. So that is that. Obviously, we've got the LP chimes. You can't go anywhere without them, right?
Right.
Whilst we're at it.
Awesome.
Sticks-wise, I'm using the Veta. What are these? Veta Session, aren't they? I think they're Sessions. No, Fusion. Veta Fusion. That's
Fusions. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've started with this the stick grip as well recently.
Oh, cool.
Years. That's really been great. Really, really helps.
Oh, that's great.
Speed Cobra pedals and hi-hat, Tama.
Nice.
So I love all of that. Where are we? And then, of course, I've got the this fantastic microphone from when I'm singing,
Right.
which I originally got I actually originally got the idea from Nick DeVigilio, but a lot of people say I think you got it from Mike Portnoy, but
Oh,
it was
yeah.
actually it was Nick that I saw who was doing a video with Sweetwater, I think. Because I used to use a headset mic, and that used to, just be like having an overhead, just picked up so much cymbal.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get mic technique and all that. I didn't like the mic coming in from the side down this way over the hi hat because it got in the way of my sticks.
Yeah, it's just in the way.
Yeah, so the overhead thing, the gooseneck off the top, and I built myself a little Gibraltar stand
Oh, cool.
down there. So literally it comes up
That's
from there.
brilliant. Yeah, it doesn't take any floor space up, really.
No, everything fits on the mat, which is perfect. Right, I guess the next thing to talk about is obviously it's all mic'd up here with well, these are just my studio mics that I use. But this is quite an interesting thing. So this is an ART S8, which is a splitter box.
Uh-huh.
So this all came about with, obviously I use an old school mixer, just a little mixer, where I basically wanted to have all my drums come in there individually, and I wanted all the instruments coming in individually so that I can do my own mix and it sounds like a CD every single gig every night. And I don't have to sort of wave to the side of the stage or holler and go, can I have more kick or less snare or more guitar, or, in the middle of songs. So I just wanted to be able to lean over and just add a touch of this, take a bit of that, and boom, no hassle to any of the sound engineers, make their life real easy.
That's
so
cool.
I self-monitor. So the way that works is I made up some snakes. So you've got basically each individual input, one goes in the front and it has two coming out the back. So one comes to me and one goes to front of house.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's and they're clean. They're absolutely clean splits. So there's no. So basically, I don't know if you can see this. I've got
cool.
Goes in here, and I literally have a snake, and they can all come out of this.
They must. The sound guys must love that.
They absolutely do. Yeah, they love it to bits. At first, they go, "Well, what's this all about?"
Right.
Go, "Oh, that's great."
And so you don't screw up my monitor mix.
Well, I guess there's a bit of that, but it's also like good. I'm not going to get a drummer shouting across the stage at me. Can I have less bass and all this nonsense? They got enough on their plate. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it makes their life real easy. And then this is for all the instruments going in. So I can have a bass, guitar, keyboards, whatever I like, straight into my mixing desk. These are my in-ear monitors. You can see that. I use Cosmo ears, which are these little bad boys here.
Cool.
These are amazing sound. Everything else is Gibraltar. I'm trying to think what else I can tell you. Really important. It's the drummers out there, which I've found has really helped me. For $5.
Oh yeah, the little locks.
Lug locks.
Yeah.
I don't know about on all the. I don't use them on my toms, but definitely on my snare drum.
Yeah, I need to get some more of those.
Oh man, they're so cool. They keep everything in tune, and none of that drama.
Right. And Scott, do you clean your cymbals?
Occasionally.
And I ask because not because I think they look dirty, but I ask because I think it's a interesting ongoing. I mean, like some drummers will fight to the death. Is nylon tip or wood tip, right? Do you clean your cymbals or not clean your cymbals? I heard once that I never asked him this, but I heard once Tommy Aldridge fired a tech because he cleaned all his cymbals. He intentionally let the patina build up because it changes the sound, and he liked the sound. So I let mine build up the patina, but that's because they just don't take time to clean them.
Right.
And I'd like to ask the question also, when people do clean them, what do they clean them with? And I know that there's like Zildjian has a cleaner that you can't use on other cymbals. It messes them up. I did that by accident on a couple Sabian splashes, and it made some weirdness on them. They still work. I mean, I still have them.
Yeah.
Some people use like a cola. Some people use ketchup. Some
Yeah.
people use oh, what's that? Brasso. It's called Brasso, which is like a all-purpose
Yeah.
alloy cleaner. So I think it's an interesting question. And I've even heard some drummers say, oh, I clean all my cymbals, but my ride and my hi-hats, so it's
Well,
kind of a fun topic, I think,
it's an interesting one because I think there's a multi-million-pound idea. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
All
Wait,
right.
are you sure you want to say this publicly, or should we go in on it first? Okay.
Yeah, it's like whoever, because I know it probably won't happen, but for years and years and years, every cymbal cleaner I ever used wiped off the logo.
Oh,
That just was. If someone could design a cymbal cleaner that keeps that beautiful logo on, they would clean up.
Yeah.
This doesn't seem to be one. You have to go around it and be very careful.
Yeah.
Not to
Get
wipe it
like
off.
a Q-tip to go around the lettering.
Or the cymbal manufacturers, can they come up with an ink that cannot be rubbed off?
Yeah, like why can't the logo be anodized on there with a color?
Sure. Yeah.
It wouldn't be like a heavy layer or anything, that or laser printed, something like that.
That'd be ideal. But I do the cymbals. I mean, talking about sound. I mean, yes, if I do clean them up, they are brighter. Definitely, they definitely cut through. But sometimes I know a little much, a little bit too much, a little bit too piercing because they're so crisp and they haven't got anything on them, kind of just letting them sing. They just become so clean that they're very piercing. Unless, of course, you're playing big shows, at which point you've got a great sound engineer who knows how to, got your overhead mics and he can EQ all that, to make it amazing. But not all of us have, we're not all blessed to have that or lucky enough to have that.
Right.
So
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I don't mind it if they're like bright clean or they haven't been clean for a while. I don't think these have been clean for a while, but they still sound great, And again, that comes down, if you buy good quality equipment, I think the thing just really sings.
Yeah.
And it's the same with, if you buy the good quality equipment, if you put the good right heads on it and you dial it in how you like to hear it, they sing and they sound great,
Right. I'm hoping other drummers see this and send in tours of your kit. I mean, even I was telling Scott before we started, there's so much to talk about. Even if you just have a marching snare you want to show off or a new cymbal or something, go to drumtalktv.com. There's a video submissions tab there, and we would love to feature your gear rundowns. And go ahead and put in the comments. I think there's a couple there. Put in the comments whether or not you clean your cymbals, folks. And if you do, what do you clean them with? Nikita is in Italy. Thanks for tuning in. Steve says, our producer, Steven Schinder, says it's easy to forget how many moving parts there are when the performance comes out clean in concert. That's true. There are so many tidbits to a drum kit, even a small 4-piece, and taking care of it's like a major project, but Scott, what do you have going on? Do you have something you want to talk about, something to promote? Anything going on with Oliver, Clive Nolan, anybody else that you work with?
I am, I'm in talks with Oliver at the moment. We're trying to get something together with some live shows. Hopefully we'll be able to get that organized. I'll be seeing Clive Nolan soon. I think he's got something up his sleeve, which would be interesting. I'm doing an album for a lady called Sahela, who was in one of Clive's musicals. She was also on the X Factor over here in the UK. And so she's looking to do some music. I'm going to be working with her. There's a guy I'm talking to actually at the moment in the Ukraine. A very big progressive rock band out there that we might be working together, do for him. I'm doing a lot of like session work, like a hired gun for doing albums and stuff at the moment, which is great.
Yeah.
Nice if a band comes along to be able to join and go and do stuff, but that hasn't come along yet. But who knows? You know, I'm open to all sorts of ideas and, you know, opportunities that are out there, and all the gear's ready to go. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I'm doing at the moment. I'm doing my regular gigs each week, you know, with like the cover bands and all that kind of stuff that I love playing. That's like the day job, if you like, because this is a full-time job for me.
Right.
I also run an entertainment agency, so that puts out bands in different venues and stuff like that. But on the original side, they're the things that I've got lined up at the moment, 2 or 3 projects, but open to many more.
That's great. Ricardo Mata says he's tuning in from Venezuela. Hey, Bella Lagrisi. And I always forget, Bella, where you're located. I think I'm going to say Texas or Chicago, maybe.
Cool.
But he says, nice kid. Thanks, Scott and Dan. You're welcome. And I think it's Steve that chimed in with GearShift, which is a play on words like the other show Steve and I do called Yes Shift.
Right.
So that's a good one, Steve. Cool.
Very. This could be the start of something new. All the drummers sending in all their gear and everything, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I was telling Scott, folks, I was telling him before the show started, you know, I think in general, I have a funny note about this now that I think of it, that'll blow people's minds, especially if you're a Bill Bruford fan. I've got a little secret nugget to tell you all. But I was telling Scott, drummers are typically so into gear. I'm surprised that we don't get more submissions for gear rundowns, you know, like we just did. And folks, you can send those in at drumtalktv.com. There's a tab. We'll put it on all our social channels. Funny thing, of all people, the one person I said, it must have been before we went live. Steve will remember, before we went live, and I was telling Bill Bruford, who was on Drum Talk TV and the S Shift, we simulcast, and I said, yeah, Bill, we could talk about anything you want, anything you have coming out, gear. He says, you know, believe it or not, I'm not really into gear. I'm like, what? Of all people, what? Because there's a thing on his website, and he said, yeah, you know what? That's still there. I forgot about it. There's a thing on his website that shows every drum set configuration he's used with every Yes album and tour, every King Crimson tour, his solo stuff, and everything he did, the setup was always different. And if you look at the insane Simmons set that he had in the Yes Union tour, and of all people, he says he's not into gear. That just, I could not help but laugh. I thought that was just hilarious.
That as well. Mike Portnoy says that, doesn't he?
Really? Because yeah, that's right. Yeah.
His drum tech's been with him like 30 odd years. And he was like, I don't know, people are really into my kits and my gear, but I don't really know. What I think that's a such and such and a such. It's like, you know. But I don't think he's because I think his man just like sets it all up for him and gets it all together.
Yeah.
And there are some guys that are so busy just doing it at the top level that they just don't have time to go, what size tom is that and what head should works with that.
Right.
They've got people doing that and setting it up ready for them, I guess. But yeah, it's interesting. There was a story, wasn't there? I think it was on one of the DVDs that he did where his drum tech said, I think it was with Liquid Tension. Anyway, if you look at the kit that Portnoy's playing in the studio, it's like a mismatch of all sorts of nonsense. Literally, something's just from the garage, right? It's like, what happened with that kit? He's like, well, my tech was on holiday or something that the week we were going through the album. So I went, that'll do. That's
hilarious.
Cool, isn't it?
That's funny. And Bella also says, great looking kit. He wrote that on, it's almost the same comment. Thanks again. I might have brain farted there. Yeah, great stuff. Well, when are you coming out to the US so we can see you play in person out here?
Wouldn't that be so cool? Wouldn't that be great just to hook up and have some fun and go to a show and everything and play some shows? And
totally.
I'd love to come back to the States. It's been so many years since I've been out there playing. I promise you, the second there's an opportunity and someone wants me to come or you can do it, I will be there in a heartbeat.
That'd be awesome. Great. Living here in Arizona, we have family. Steve and one of my other sons is in They're both in Southern California. That's not that far away. My wife and I like road trips too. And then we've got a bunch of kids in Vegas. So kind of like triangulated. It's easy to get to either of those places. And then we got kids in Oregon too, but we'd have to
Perfect.
fly for that. But we just came back from there actually. But yeah, it'd be fun to see you out here in the Southwest. That'd be great.
I think if I came to the States and went California, I'm not sure I'd want to come home.
Right?
It's amazing out there.
Yeah, that's cool. And what part of the UK are you in? I forgot exactly where you are, Scott.
I live in West Sussex.
Oh,
In,
that's
England.
right, because that's where Steve went to school. Yeah.
Near Gatwick Airport, I guess, would be the nearest place, if you like, or down south, the south of England.
Yeah.
Mm.
Cool. And Bella says, I always like both channels. Bella, I see you like, I imagine you watching at the same time on two different monitors or something. That's like a true fan. That's cool. Well, Scott, thank you so much for giving us a tour of your kit. And folks, if you missed that part of this episode, go ahead and scroll back, and Scott goes through every little tidbit of his gear, the hardware, the mic, the monitor system, the heads, the cymbals, the shells, everything. And it's fun stuff for drummers. And you could send your videos in through drumtalktv.com. We would love to feature your gear setups, folks. Thanks, Scott. That was really cool.
Thank you for having me, Dan. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Hang on the line with me after we say goodbye. And folks, you can watch with two monitors like Bella Lagrisi is doing in stereo vision. So there you go. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you again soon with more fun stuff here on the Drum Talk TV channels of network of channels. And yes, Shift as well. Thanks, everyone.